Hi, welcome back to the Dylan Rounds case. In this video, I'm going to be covering numerous things from NamUS to Park Valley map analysis video, okay? So I guess we'll start with the NamUS first. As I go along in this video, feel free to leave comments in the chat, give your thoughts, responses, reactions to the information. Does anything stand out to you? Is there any misinformation, switching and changing, all that typical stuff, obviously, and you can share other ideas and other discussions as well. So with NamUS, I don't know if you call it that, or NamUS, a bit shortened for that, or NamUS, whatever. It's basically a database like missing person profile, where people will be added on who've gone missing. I don't know how official it is. I think it's only just for the US. I do remember using it or looking at it in the past with Kenny Veach, provided a bit of information which was helpful. There was a little bit of misinformation. It didn't give preciseness with dates and stuff. So it will be interesting to see in this case with Dylan, considering there's already been misinformation and info switching and changing. We'll see how it stands up on this website. So let me share that with you now and I'll read it to you. So here is the website and the profile of Dylan. Missing person, I think it gives like a code number. He's known as Dylan Jamie Rounds. I originally didn't know his middle name, but now I do. He's a male, white, Caucasian. I don't know why it doesn't show all of the text on there, but never mind. Hopefully you can see the screen clearly. I don't know if it's a bit zoomed out, but we'll see how it goes. So let's start off with the information. On the left-hand side, you can see the little profile picture of him. We've seen that image before, nothing new there. The date of last contact, May 28th, 2022. What that basically means is when he was last heard from, and the contact, the form of it was with the grandmother over the phone when Dylan was talking about the farm work and, you know, parking the grain vehicle in the shed or the barn, whichever you call it, okay? So that explains that, that checks out. Missing from Lucin, Utah, correct. Missing age, 19 years old. Current age, 20 years old. So as we know, it's keeping up to date. I don't know who updates this, whether it's the website or family members or friends have to fill it in themselves maybe. But yeah, that checks out. He was 19 when he went missing in May. And in recent time, with it being his birthday, upcoming one, as we saw announced in that third interview by the East Idaho News Channel, Dylan's birthday. As well, Candy's talking about hopefully he makes it back for his birthday, and obviously that didn't happen, but I guess she was just being hopeful. So let's start to scroll down a bit. I notice it says images and documents as well as contacts, but we'll leave that last because with certain things you click on, it just basically skips ahead to the information down below, and I would rather just do it in a certain order, okay? So the case information, demographics, missing age 19, current age 20, yep. First name Dylan, middle name Jamie, last name Rounds, yep. Nickname Elias, none. Male. Height. Now this is interesting. Dylan's height is between 5'11" and 6 foot. It's basically the same thing, right, when people round it up. Weight, 95 to 145 pounds. Race, ethnicity, white Caucasian. Now, this is a little bit of differing information, okay? So, in the past, the mother, Candice, whether it be an interview or talking to Heavy D, whichever video it was, when she was referring to the truck and the seat being pushed forwards, she said that Dylan is 5'10", so he's fairly tall. He wouldn't be able to fit in the vehicle with that seat arrangement or measurement, whatever you call it. So Candy said Dylan is 5'10". On here, it says he's basically 6 foot. So once again, misinformation. I know it's only a small thing, but, whilst people keep pointing out towards others saying, misinformation, you're spreading this, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that. Once again, this is yet another example of family members getting it wrong. Just being realistic, okay? So let me know your thoughts. Why is Dylan 1 minute 5'10" and then the next minute he's 6 foot? Feel free to let me know and your thoughts. Is that his true height, or could he be taller or smaller? Is this more information that will switch and change with time? Maybe it's not as significant in this case. Let's say he was a bit smaller and they really downsized him in some way, or upscaled him, let's say. You could say that's more important now, because with the whole seat being pushed forwards, you'd have to be smaller in height to be able to operate it practically. So if they said he was taller than what he was, then it's like, they're hiding something. Doesn't seem to be the case this time round. But, you've got to be cautious with this information. As well, his weight, 95 to 145 pounds. That seems very unrealistic. For me, I'll tell you my stats. So I'm basically 6'2", 210 pounds. With Dylan being nearly 6 foot, let's say, 95 pounds is definitely underweight, not healthy at all. 145 pounds is still pushing it, because you think about this, when you get UFC MMA fighters who might be 5'5", 5'6", and end up weighing 154 pounds or around about that, and then they do the weight cuts here and there, and you see how they look. Yeah, they might be lean, but some of them can look a little unhealthy at times. Thinness in the jaw and the face. So saying Dylan, who could be 6 foot at 145 pounds, that just seems a little underweight. I'm sure there'll be people out there who, might be of those measurements, maybe a bit more extreme, but in Dylan's case, he seemed fit and healthy. He was a farmer, so he would have been working quite a bit and doing exercise, the physicality of it, somewhat strong, a little bit of muscle built, with the lifting and stuff and operating things and so on. So I think he would have weighed more than that. It's just one of those things. The taller you are, you tend to weigh a bit more as well. Okay, so that's worth taking into mind. So it does make you think, why are these stats or numbers kind of unrealistic? Is it a guesstimate? Guessing and estimating? They should have had maybe a broader, wider range, 95 to 160, 170 pounds. That would make more sense, to be honest, because we've got to look at Dylan, in his photos, his pictures. True, some are old, some are maybe a bit more new. You look at him, he doesn't look that skinny. He looks average. His face looks fine. It doesn't look too thin or unhealthy, none of that issues. I mean, one individual that had a different opinion was Silverheels, that said in some of his photos, Dylan looked a little rough, worn down, ill in the face, his skin complexion, colour, or something like that. But then again, that's just an observation. So, as said, leave your thoughts in the chat. Is this information correct up to now, or is it quite unrealistic? I'm going to scroll down a bit more, okay? Circumstances. Date of last contact, May 28th, 2022. NamUS case created June the 28th, 2022. So, okay. It was done, after Dylan's disappearance, not done immediately. It does make you think, why? Why was it not done around the same time he was reported missing? Why the delay? I can understand maybe the reaching out part with the news channels and the odd YouTubers, because at first you rely on the main authorities, the police, law enforcement, to do their investigations. That fell through, and with time, I guess the family got desperate or tried to get a bit creative and do something by reaching out to others. And that was done with time. That makes sense. You know, it's part of the process. You're patient, you believe in the authorities to do the job. That falls through at first, and then you seek other means. I understand. But with this being, I guess, like an official website of missing people, why was it not done at the time of when Dylan was reported missing? You know what I'm saying? Why set this page up or this profile kind of later on? Or was this done at the same time when the family lost hope or trust in the law enforcement at the time? So they thought by setting this up, it could help widen the search and spread the name out there so people might hear about it. It's a thought. But then again, if we link back to Kenny Veach, who is also on this like website, the profile. Now with Kenny Veach, he wasn't talked about really at all in the news, if not nothing. I don't think he was ever mentioned in the news. There was no interviews, nothing whatsoever. You might be wondering, so how did we know about Kenny Veach and all of that? Well, it was just through one video on YouTube, just one. And with time, with the odd few investigations and me doing 247 videos on the case, things did emerge with time. Certain key individuals stepped up, including some family members, the odd one. And that provided a bit more context and understanding of Kenny and actually added to the lack of information on the NamUS website. But it just goes to show that you could say arguably a less significant case, a less covered one, virtually not covered at all, still appeared on NamUS on the website. I can't remember when it was actually added to the database. Do you know what? I'm going to have a quick look now. So I'm just briefly on the Kenny Veach profile to do a comparison, okay? By the way, if you are very interested in other missing people cases and dark, strange, deep, and I mean deep mysteries, make sure to check out the Kenny Veach M-Cave one. They are available on YouTube, the videos, and also on my channel. I have extensively covered the case for over 2 years. I'll leave a playlist and link down below in the comment section if you wish to check those videos out, okay? So, as a comparison to the circumstances of Dylan. So with Kenny, date of last contact, November the 10th, 2014, and then the profile was created on this website, December the 9th, 2014. So once again, there is a bit of a gap in between of when things were done. You know, is there a possibility that there's a delay in the process of updating information, adding it to the database? If there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of people go missing in the world, or at least in the US, maybe there's high traffic usage on this website, so possibly, I don't know, it takes time for it to process. So as you saw, there were similarities between the two in terms of when they were added to the website. There's a delay, and that might just be normal, that. The only reason why I wanted to compare at first, okay, was with Dylan being, you know, an active topic and being covered about, very popular in a way, a lot of coverage and talk, you know, in the media, on YouTube, I guess in real life. With Kenny Veach, it was the complete opposite. So I just wanted to see originally, is there anything that plays a role there? But from the looks of it, that doesn't seem to be the case. So I guess we can debunk that part at least. So up to now, what do you think? You know, is everything checking out? Or does anything stand out to you that is questionable? And the only reason why I'm saying that is because this mystery, or this case, whatever you want to call it, I'd say at the beginning, at least when I came along, I was under the impression that it's quite strict and linear, must stick to the facts, must stick to the information, 100% accuracy. That was on my mind originally, and some little jumped up little shits ended up saying to me at certain points saying, oh, if you're going to cover this case, then you must stick factual and this and that. But they're looking like complete plums now, you stupid plank. Have you not seen the case and the way it's gone? You know, 1 minute's this, next minute's that. Oh, we're supposed to follow this information and follow the facts, and those facts keep switching and changing, bending and twisting. Well done. See, this is what I mean. Like with Instinct and the Kenny Veach case, you can follow so much, but then after that, you got to go on your own path, own perspectives, and try and look elsewhere and question certain things because it might, it might help. Okay, so that's just like a brief little run off when talking. Let's return back to the NamUS website and look at the further details on Dylan. Okay. So we just scroll down a little bit more now. We move on to the last known location. Location, Lucin, Utah. And is that the address number or the code number of the area, maybe? I mean, when it says last known location, there is questioning around that, and I will get to that in a second. Just hold with me, okay? Originally, in the past, with other articles, it was worded as the last location Dylan was seen in was Montello Saddle Saw Bar on the 26th or the 27th. There is questioning and rumours that he stayed there the night as well. And then once he returned back to the farm, through the night or so, he was supposedly planting seeds in the ground and so on. It's just trying to understand, because the way this is worded is the last known location and the same, basically, Dylan's farm, Lucin. But in the past it was worded as Montello. But I think I understand what they're getting at. They're basing the last known location off either the phone ping or when Dylan was on the phone calling the grandmother. Because when you're on the phone, that can reveal your location, right? And that would have been on Lucin, Dylan's farm, or near his shed, the grain shed, okay? So I do understand that. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But there is questioning around the phone ping because they're saying it was Dylan's phone and it was on the farm, but we're not quite sure if it was Dylan who was making the phone, turning the phone on and using it. It could have been somebody else. And there's been other questions and rumours about that, where some people have been thinking, okay, yeah, the phone ping is there, but it don't mean to say Dylan was operating the phone. Could have been the suspect or another stranger. So depending how you interpret that, when looking at this profile and the information presented, it would make you think, oh, that's where Dylan was last seen. But with the information here and there, and from what the mother said in one of the interviews on the East Idaho News Channel, there is uncertainty, okay? Let me know your thoughts on the location presented and what the mother previously said about the phone ping in the chat, okay? The county, Box Elder County, yeah, I've heard that. Missing from tribal land. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. Does tribal land mean where you grew up in, where you were born? Whatever it is, it says no. Primary residence on tribal land, no. I assume it's because he moved on and lived out there by himself. Okay. As said, if there's any errors made, feel free to correct me in the chat or wherever, okay? So let's read out the circumstances of the disappearance. Unfortunately, the text is a little small, so hopefully you can read it. I'll read it out anyway. So, it goes, Dylan went missing under suspicious circumstances that is now being investigated as a criminal investigation. Dylan spoke with his grandmother on the 5th, the 28th, 2022, and told her that he was putting his grain truck away and will then be walking to his trailer, approximately 5 miles away. Dylan then stated that he would call his grandmother back, and he wasn't heard from again after that phone call. A substantial search was done of the vast desert in Lucin, Utah, but he has not been located at this time. Okay, that's interesting. I think I need to make one correction. When I read out the date, I read it out wrong. It's because the dates are bloody reversed. You know, compared to the UK, the US has their dates reversed the other way around, so it can get very confusing, okay? So it was the 28th of May, okay? So I just wanted to correct that. Is there anything else? We will return back to the circumstance of the disappearance shortly, okay? I can tie it in with some other stuff. Let's just go down a bit more. Physical description. Hair colour, brown, okay? Head hair description, not available. Body hair description, not available. Not available. Left eye colour, brown. Right eye colour, brown. Eye description, not available. Distinctive physical features, no information entered. Clothing and accessories, no information entered. Now that's kind of an important one, to be honest. You know, the reason why I say that is because when it comes to clothing, if he was wearing a certain style, then, and that was the last time he was seen, that should be noted down, because somebody might see the description and then in real life come across someone indirectly who appears to be wearing the same clothes, and that could lead to finding the missing person. It's happened at times, right? Now, this is the most important part, okay? This will make more sense, right, to why the clothing should have been mentioned or an estimate. The reason why I say that is because from what the mother has previously said, Dylan sticks to a certain type of clothing. You know, a baseball cap, an Under Armour hoodie, maybe jeans, the same boots every time, sticking to one type, one pair, one brand, one at a time, and then buying the same lot again once the originals have worn out. So there is a level of consistency of how he dresses, his attire, farm work type clothing. That's what he's used to, that's what he normally wears. So if there's consistency there, then why not just add it to the database? Even his boots, why not just add the boots, right? It just doesn't make sense. Like, it should have included the boots because that was one of the main features, obviously, because it was found, his boots, or a pair of boots supposedly related to Dylan. So why was that not entered in on the database and like uploaded? Because they've updated his age, so why can't they update the other information down below? Or is it because it's automated, it's based off the date of birth and stuff, and that automatically changes on its own? Maybe, because I think with Kenny Veach, the same happens there, and no information down below has been added since, and I don't think anyone would bother. So maybe it's automated. Okay, that makes more sense. You can let me know your thoughts though. How important do you think it is to include the information of the clothing Dylan wore near to the time of his disappearance, or what you'd normally wear on a general day-to-day basis? Do you think it's important and odd that they didn't bother adding the boots to the, the profile, because that would have made sense, right? Nevertheless, let's continue reading. Additional case info, transportation, 2015 Ford F-150. Style, colour, pickup, burgundy / maroon. Wait, is that right? I thought it was red. Maybe it's just a colour tone. But I assume this is referring to Dylan's vehicle that wasn't moved and found at the grain shed parked outside, and his grain truck was parked inside. Dylan's 2015 Ford F-150 supposedly was locked, which it normally never was. The seat moved forwards and it set in all-wheel drive despite it not working in that format, and so on. So yeah, okay, that seems to check out. Doesn't provide any information of the license plate or the state. Comments, okay. Dylan's vehicle was found at his residence and later processed as evidence. The truck was locked and the key fob was missing. However, the key fob was brought back and placed in the residence by unknown person. Hold on a minute. So some of you as well might be scratching your head as well. Evidence. The vehicle was taken in for evidence and checking. Why? I thought it was contaminated, tampered with, messed up. With Dylan's mum investigating the place, looking inside the trailer or so, touching the car, whether it be her or a friend or another family member, breaking entry into the car to be able to drive it back or move it, at least. It's like, well, you've already touched the steering wheel, you've touched the handle, the side of the car and everything. So is there any evidence left? You know, as they've said, the parents and I guess law enforcement, you know, this is an investigation and things can't be touched, you know, by general public because it will ruin and mess up the evidence. And yet they're saying that the car, despite it being touched, broken into, it can still be analysed. That's kind of interesting. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's right? Do you think it'll be accurate when they do check for the DNA and all that? Or will it be contaminated? Let me know what you think about that in the chat, okay? So we don't just stop there because they're talking about the key fob. They're saying 1 minute it's missing and then it's been found. But from the way we saw it develop was it was reported as missing, then it was found on the Heavy D video, and then after that on a Facebook post they said, oh no, it wasn't found, it was the grandparents finding a spare set. So it's like, well, misinformation once again, and that misinformation has not been cleared up on the NamUS profile, which is quite bad in a way. It should be up to date. It should clear up any misinformation, because if anyone comes along at a certain point in time, reads certain descriptions and they're inaccurate, false, and then other bits of detail, it could cause misdirection and misunderstanding, and it's not going to help, is it? So things need to be cleared up. And in addition, reading on from that where it said about the key fob, you know, being found, it was returned to the residence by an unknown person. What the hell is that about? Unknown person. Why they're not revealing the name? That like, what is going on? I mean, if it's referring to the bit about the grandparents where they said they supposedly found the key fob and then returned it to the farm, the residence, that could be what it means by unknown person, and they just want to keep certain people's identities private, I guess. That could explain that. But then again, like with the whole report about Don, originally he was classified as a friend of Jim, and that's all he was known as in articles and news reports, a friend. And then that title changed to a person of interest. And in recent time, which has been discussed informally and not on the media platforms like the news, that it was Don H who was responsible for handing in the firearm, which was linked to Jim, and so on. So that was eventually revealed, but I guess formally the identity wasn't. Is this the case with this individual? An unknown person returning the key fob makes it sound more suspicious and mysterious than it probably is, right? Could just be a family member, could be one of the grandparents who made the mistake of finding the spare set. Let me know your thoughts down below, because once again, this is kind of like misinformation and it's not helpful at all. So I guess we can return back to the circumstance part and just read through that story once again, because I just want to see if there's any mistakes made or if any important information has been missed, okay? Just real quick, I just want to share with you those other two tabs where it says image and documents and contacts, just so nothing is missed out. So you got the two images there, which I guess you can download. One on the left, which we saw, one on the right, we've already seen that. The actual photo was uploaded June 28th. Well, both were. Okay. So yeah, there's that. And then the contacts part, investigating agencies, Box Elder County Sheriff's Office, Zachary Moore, I guess the lead detective. And that's about it for that, okay? Case contributors, no information entered. Right, so let's just return back to this part. where is it? Circumstances disappearance. So the bit that stood out to me really was the bit where it said Dylan spoke with his grandmother on that date and then told her that he was putting the truck away and that after he would walk back to his trailer 5 miles away, and then Dylan stated he would call his grandmother back. But it never happened. So it creates a different theory to what I might have said previously, okay? I'm going to share that with you right now on Google Maps. Are you ready? So I'm currently on Dylan's land, specifically speaking near his grain shed and where the last known contact was made in terms of the phone call, okay? So basically, the way it's been worded on the site, NamUS, can create a different theory and angle. So originally, it was the concept of Dylan being in this area and then eventually ending up going west, hence why his final phone ping was in that direction. But because there's questions about that, the idea that maybe Dylan wasn't present in that direction at the time and it might have been somebody else using his phone, it raises a bit of doubt. So if we just track back, okay, and we just refer to what was mentioned on the NamUS website only, it creates the idea that instead of going west, it was actually going east to his trailer over that way, as you saw that little flicker of the symbol, okay? And it will make more sense very shortly, okay? So to try and talk things through on the day or night of when things went down. So, okay, the 28th of May, Dylan's within this area or so, talking about how he needs to park his grain truck. He does so successfully. His vehicle, though, is left outside. He doesn't bother taking that back because he walks it. Is that normal? Yeah, from what's been said, from what Candice has said, he usually does that. He walks back casually 5 miles like it's nothing. Okay, so that's likely the same outcome this time, right? On the 28th. Makes his phone call, does what needs to be done, and then he made the promise that once he gets back to his living quarters, his trailer, then he would make the call. But that never happened. So it's like, what happened in between here, making that first call, and then the outcome of him supposedly returning back to his living space, which is over here. The question is, did he even make it back or not? That's the real thing. And I said, in terms of the distance, roughly talking, because he wouldn't have followed the roads because he doesn't need to. He's on foot. From there, come on, don't mess me around. Okay, fuck that shit. So from there to up here, about 5 miles, fair bit of distance, a fair bit of walking. It might have been easy to him, but what is within this area? Was anyone waiting? Was anyone parked up like that? That's the question. So we just like pretend this is Dylan. So, okay. Drives vehicle, parks it up. There we go. Locks it maybe. Comes out. Vehicle, his main one there, but he's like, no, I think I'll call it a day now. On foot, turns around, and is like, okay, I probably should head back to my living space. And then, I don't know the exact route he would use if he just literally walks in a straight line or so. But let's just pretend he's walking in a straight line or so. What happens? What is currently present that's dodgy, suspicious? Does anything stand out? Is there anything that could go wrong in between? Leave your thoughts down below. I know we've got the sun tunnels down there, and there is talk about that. I don't know the name, but they're called Sunshine. Shout out to them. They did say about covering that, which I will do shortly. I just need to focus on one thing at a time. But it could help. It could help tie in with this, maybe. But let's just get back on track. So Dylan's walking across this land. It's very vast. It looks desolate. You do have the odd few dirt roads, as you can see there. So there is a possibility a car might have been driving down at the time, passed by Dylan, or was waiting for him on the side of the road. As Dylan's walking this way, heading east to his farm. There it is. Does anything stand out? Anything unusual at all? Flip the image slightly. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, like if there's any buildings, any cars, trailers. I know it's outdated, so you got to take that into mind, but if it's the odd building or something, that should remain. Is there any hideouts? Apologies about the background sound, it's just the trains. Can't really see much going on. I know it's not 3D. I know on Google Earth Pro or on the desktop you can do the, what's it called, the street, not street level, not street view, it's just like ground level where it slots you right on the ground so it looks like you're walking across, but as for clarity and the quality, it doesn't do much good, so that's why I'm not bothering. Can't see too much. I mean, this is the thing, this is what Dylan did kind of regularly. So he's used to it, he knows where he's going. So he would have been aware of the land and what's around, what to avoid and the best route to go. But maybe on that one day, someone was waiting for him. And if not that, if someone was walking behind him. Now, that seems a bit more dodgy in a way, okay? Like if Jim was following him from behind, not running, just walking. You know, as I said, as Dylan's finished at the grain shed, because Jim's living on site nearby, he gets out of the trailer and then follows Dylan back to the home, maybe. But it gets to a certain point where across this land, he doesn't make it all the way back. There's a confrontation in the middle of nowhere in between his grain shed and his living quarters. And in this space, there's maybe a showdown, a face-off, which leads to Dylan getting hurt. That's one way of interpreting it, okay? Now, the other way of looking at it would be if Jim was already over at Dylan's place, as we said. And I guess I have brought that point up before, but for some reason, I've not actually really shown it whilst I'm narrating on screen. But I will do for once. I don't know why I didn't do before. But yeah. Dylan keeps on walking. I still can't see anything at the moment that stands out or looks peculiar. Let me know in the chat if you see anything. But it looks pretty clear to me. Is that a road? Like a dirt path, maybe? Not quite sure. Unfortunately, the quality is slightly going now. But yeah, that does look like a dirt path, yeah. And it cuts across the land, so someone in a car could have still intercepted him as he's walking along. But yeah, let's just continue. He's carrying on walking. Still looks pretty empty. You got that long road there, I guess. Finally gets to the RV. I know it's blurry and it's shit, but there's not much I can do about it right now. Finally got to his place of living. And why did the phone not ring? Why did he not make the call? Did he lose his phone in between? Could he have dropped his phone and that was taken? That's another little avenue you can look down and question. Maybe it's best not going down too many so it doesn't get too confusing. I understand. And he gets here. Now, even when the image is clear and you can actually see what's on screen, there's no sign of a trailer, which I don't understand. I can't really see a trailer in this spot. And I'm only just referring to this spot and point. Correct me if it's wrong, if it's the wrong place, but this is what I've seen other YouTubers point out. I think it might have been Mob the mob crew or somebody else that put the marker right here. So that's what I assume is where Dylan lives. Now this was 2021 taken, so maybe he did move his trailer in between. Don't know why, but maybe he did. Correct me if I'm wrong once again, because it is important to clear up this stuff. But linking back to that concept, that theory, he gets back to his trailer and Jim's already there looking for the money. As I said, confrontation leads to things getting messy. Okay, Dylan gets hurt, taken out, and then it's like, okay, so maybe it follows the same procedure as what was said at the barn. Gets into a vehicle or some kind of vehicle, whoever it is, and then drives, because, you know, with the barn, the grain shed, that was over that way. That was 5 miles less of distance. Now, because we're back here, it's an additional 5 more miles of distance to cover. And is Jim going to drag Dylan 5 miles to the grain shed? No. Very, very unlikely. So either something bad happened in between the grain shed and Dylan's living space, so as I said, in this midsection here of this land, or Dylan got back to here, was supposed to make that phone call, but was distracted by the presence of an intruder such as Jim, or maybe somebody else looking for items or money. Confrontation, somebody got hurt, bundled into a vehicle, then drove west, still based off the phone ping, okay? So that's the way I see it, okay? You can leave your thoughts in the chat and give your opinions on it. So yeah, some of you, or maybe afterwards, others might be a bit confused or complain and say, well, what about the previous theory you talked about at the grain shed where Jim lives nearby and it happening there? Why suddenly change to this? Other people will be like, oh, well, you know, it didn't happen down there at the living place, it happened at the grain shed. Look at this information, look at that backs up this and that. Yeah, hold on, okay? At the end of the day, these are different theories. Theories are like ideas, so they can switch and change along the way. I know it's a bit of a coincidence that, but they can switch and change along the way. It's not like set in stone, it's not pure facts. It's just like ideas and maybe the use of imagination and a bit of creativity along the way. And the way I've moulded it this time is primarily based on what was given, the information on the NamUS website, okay? Because I wanted to demonstrate to you how the mind can, you know, process things and how certain theories can come about based on certain information, whether it's true or false, limited or complete, okay? And as you saw, just by reading that information on NamUS, it gave a different interpretation theory, a different area. It kind of like revamped it, you know what I'm saying? Where I was originally looking at the grain shed, the boots in that area of where it happened, and then heading west, like being chased down or followed by someone. This time round, as you saw, complete opposite direction. Credit to one individual, randomly, don't know who they are, that previously said, hey, Andrew, have you ever thought that maybe Dylan was being chased or followed in the opposite direction? East, not west. Well, I guess this kind of like demonstrates it, right? Based on the information. And some people will say, oh, you keep spreading false information. Oh, all this is wrong. Well, do you know what? Look, it's not coming from my mouth, is it? Literally, it's not. It's like being relayed from what's been said elsewhere. So they're the ones doing it wrong, okay? So you've got to question, why is that the case? And as well, if this is kind of a high profile case, or it's been talked about quite a bit, somewhat important and popular, like on the news channels and everything and the media, then why is it not being updated on the NamUS website? You know, it doesn't make sense. It should be updated. You know, there's you know, information coming along the way and stuff, then they should. Like even just the boots, because at the end of the day, with the boots, when were they found? I can't remember when they were found, but kind of like when the parents or family visited on the 30th or so, looking around stuff. Shortly afterwards, the boots were found then. And if you look at when Dylan was added to the website, that was like a month later and onwards. So there'd been enough time to add the information on about the boots. So clearly it's not being updated, and that's kind of problematic. And it makes you think, if Dylan was found in some way or another, would that NamUS profile be closed? Would it say found? Or if it's not being updated, then it just remains as missing. And then when anyone comes along in the future, people are going to get confused, and then people will end up looking into stuff when they don't have to, and it'll be a lot of wasted time and effort. It could get very awkward and just like a bit of a mess, to be honest. Nice, that landed well. So it's just all those things to take into mind. You can leave your thoughts in the chat. You know, the website itself, NamUS, what do you think of that? The theory on Google Maps about, you know, Dylan, the direction he was heading, because, you know, it's just the way it's worded, because, you know, it just makes you think from point A to point B. Grain shed makes a call, supposed to call back once he gets to point B, his home, and yet that never happens. It's that idea of something must have happened in between that point, right? It's the only way of really interpreting it. And for the second phone ping, if you call it that, or for the second time there is phone activity, instead of it being you know, starting there and then ending east that way at his living place, it wasn't that, it was there and then suddenly over that way. So it's like east, west, west, east. Which way first? What followed what? So there's different directions to be looking in as well, right? It's not just in one spot, it's kind of spread. And that might be what makes things more difficult, because the land itself, the environment, quite sparse, open and vast. There's a bit more to take into mind. It's one of those things where, okay, there's not much around physically, and that's what can understandably cause, I guess, more confusion and the difficulties of trying to figure out what's what at the end of the day. It's a weird situation. It's so vast and open and kind of desolate. Like, you can look in the distance all around, it's like miles and miles of land, and then eventually you see the mountains in the distance, but it's like, what's in between? What's going on? You can't really see too much. How can he just disappear like that, you know, in open sight? It's kind of like that. But, you know, there's no cameras in the area. There's not like a heavy population, so you haven't got the witnesses as you would in like more populated places, towns, cities, and so on. So I guess that's what causes it to be difficult. So, yeah. Now, we haven't finished, because now I want to move on to something different and new, something I've not covered before on this channel about the Dylan Rounds case, and that's to do with Park Valley and the link it has with Chase Venstra. So a fair few of you may already know the situation, but I'll talk it through, okay, for some people who aren't aware. I'm going to incorporate it with a map analysis as well, just to try and understand the situation. So, Park Valley. Supposedly, it's a place where there's police investigations underway, or at least investigations in recent time by the police, the law enforcement. And it's trying to understand, why are they going over that way, which I guess is northeast that way. And there's a bit of distance as well to take in mind. So it's like, what's so significant about way over there where it's out of reach of Dylan's land and even Dylan visiting? Why? Well, let me share with you and explain. So to get an understanding of the area and the distance, as you can see on screen, once again, we've got Dylan's grain shed and his living quarters down here. If I zoom out a bit, you see that purple line. That purple line is in the direction of where Park Valley is located, and you can see a fair bit of distance, right? Now, interestingly, I don't know if it was before or during, because I can't remember the actual dates, but I did see a comment in the past where someone said, hey, you should be checking Park Valley. And for some reason, it makes me think that comment was left before the police started investigating, which is a little bit creepy, okay? A little bit weird. I don't know if it was like a hint, insider information, or whoever left that comment on one of my videos was maybe a little dodgy. I don't know. It does make me think, because I'm sure I saw a comment like that before the talk about the police investigating the area. So why would I have been told early on, considering there are other YouTubers and bigger, more important investigators? So I guess I might be wrong in what I say in terms of when it was sent, the comment, but that's just my gut feeling and from what I can remember. Anyway, I guess we can do a distance check. I just want to say that this is not accurate, as I'm not covering it on the road, okay? It would take too long and it's too messy. I just do it in miles from about here, and we just do the line going up this way, follow that purple line. There you go, about 44.6 miles. Probably a fair bit more if you follow the roads and do the ins and outs, and so this is just a rough one, okay? So you can see a fair bit of distance, preferably meant for driving too. So, if I haven't already mentioned it, that question of why are the police investigating up that way? What's so important about it? Well, as we go up, you can see the marker. A little bit of information of the place. Chase's dad picked Chase up in this area. I personally don't know why Chase was in this area and why the dad picked him up. Maybe the car broke down, or he didn't have a vehicle at the time or something, maybe. I don't know if Chase was alone, or he might have been with a girlfriend or somebody else, a friend. But yeah, I think that could be a motive to why police were investigating the area, because at a point in time when they were looking into Chase in some way or another, if Chase being in this place, the police might have thought, oh, what's he doing up here? We should check. Does he have a property? Is he hiding anything? Are there any guns in this area being hidden? And so on. So that could be that. But then again, if you interpret the other way, when Chase supposedly was never a part of the investigation to begin with Dylan Rounds, then why are they bothering coming up this way if you take Chase out of the picture? That's what I'm trying to understand, because I've only seen so many updates, okay? So just flip and look back the way we came. There you go. You can see. Now, I think there are like dirt roads and stuff. I mean, you've got like, looks like a main road here, which you could drive down, which could go on and on and on. There's turn-off points. I don't know which road you'd actually go down. Maybe that one. I'm just trying to find my way back, if possible. It goes in and out, winding roads, which I don't even know if there are actual dirt roads or not. What's all this about? Whoa, what's that? Hold on. What's that? Is that a trailer? A container? Or just a bit of metal just randomly dumped in the middle of nowhere? You see how you can start finding all kinds of items. Oh, wait, hold on. What's this? Another container, is it? Just randomly dumped. Damn, see, this is what I mean. These are the sort of things you need to be looking out for, because when they're in the middle of nowhere and far away from a farm, could they have been used to hide Dylan in? Damn. I mean, I was only supposed to be looking to get back to the farm and stuff, but it's surprising what you find along the way. But, oh God, it doesn't like it when I zoom in. But yeah, you got so many different roads intertwining, bending and everything. Well, it looks like, wow, we're coming. Yeah, there we go. Follow this main path, dirt road, in and out. Where does it go? Oh, maybe I've gone off track. Oh well, fuck that. You get the idea. It's trying to understand what's so important about Park Valley. It's a small place. It looks like farmland. You got the green stuff, the grass or the crops, so there's that. But is there any buildings in between which could have any ties or links with Chase? Well, we can have a look. Do we have Street View? Whoa, we do. This will be useful. Where do you want to start? Let's just start up here randomly. Okay. Wow. We actually have good quality images compared to Montello. Wow. I just wanted to start here because it was like towards the starting point and it's a dead end. So I just wanted to see what was at a dead end. You get a good view. Oh, yeah, good view. Oh, hold on. Oh, shit. It's a graveyard. Interesting. And there's like wildlife. Is that a cow? A cow on the land of a graveyard. So it must be an all-in-one, I guess. Damn, Park Valley. Leave your thoughts in the chat. What do you think of this spot? Does it look a little bit creepy? I mean, it's still like a small town, small population likely. And yet, yeah, wow. Look at the distance and the view of that. You see all the shadows as well being casted by the light. And then this small section designated with different graves, quite a few of them to be fair. A couple of them do have flowers, so they must be visited kind of regularly. You can make some of them out. Could Chase have been in the area visiting this location maybe? Whether it be a certain family member or somebody he knew, and he was just paying respect, and then his dad picked him up. Could that explain that maybe? Do you think there's anything of interest in this spot? Leave your thoughts in the chat. I do have a random question. Do you think this place is haunted? Do you think there's any paranormal activity? Like, there's that previous talk in the past about Superstition Mountains. You know, it's out in the desert, very vast, desolate, and there's spooky stuff going on. So, could the same happen here with there being graves? Could anything go on? Is there any other slots? Like, on the right-hand side, there's no graves, so maybe that's for the future if there is any need to do so. But I think that's enough of that because there's not much else to look at. It is a dead end. What's that? Wait, what's that? That looks like... Well, I know it's a stone, but there's a black thing on it, like a plaque. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. There was a dragonfly and it bashed against a window. Wow. That made me jump. Anyway, speaking of which, you've got this rock here, which looks like there's a plaque on it, a black one. Let me know what you think. Okay. It looks good though, visually, this spot. A long dirt road. Okay. So we'll just carry on going up this road. I probably could skip ahead, but I'd rather not. And whilst I'm just randomly tapping away on the screen, you can carry on sharing your ideas in the chat, whether it be about Dylan, Chase, Park Valley in general, if you know about the place. Oh, look at that tower, that radio one. If you know about the place, feel free to talk about it and share your experiences. Maybe you know something other people don't. That's actually quite a good view. I could use that for a thumbnail, maybe, in one of my videos. Yeah, I might. Anyway. Bit of a long road. Just skip ahead. We need to find a turn-off point where it goes right. There's a bit of dust cloud, but that's from the vehicle itself driving along, as you can see. Can Can you actually see the vehicle? Not quite. You can make the bonnet out. Where's the turn? Oh, is this the turn-off point? Makes you think, why did Google go down this one road? Like, you know, sometimes they tend to leave out certain spots. There's the gate. Can't see any signs on it. But yeah. Yeah, good view. Good distance. Can't make much else out. Damn, that sun's bright and it's not even real time. Wow, that blinded me then. Right, so we need to go right. The speed limit is 65 miles per hour, but that doesn't matter because I'm not moving that quick. You get some good shots here. Definitely good quality for once. Definitely big step up. I don't know the date of this. It doesn't seem to say. Probably 2021. Can't imagine it being 2022. No services. Does no services mean like do you call it hospitality or something? Or like toilets or something? Or is it phone service? I don't know. It can't be because you got the power lines and stuff nearby. Wait, why does it look like when I'm tapping it doesn't look like we're moving? That's a bit confusing. Is that farming equipment or something on that side? Is that water? I guess so. Apologies about the background. It's the fucking train and the door vibrating. It's so annoying. Right, double time. To be honest, I kind of regret going all this distance now. Yeah, why can't I just skip ahead? Where are the buildings anyway? I didn't think it was that far. Actually, what's on the left-hand side? Oh, shit, that looks abandoned. Hold on. You see that? Definitely abandoned and worn down. That's the sort of building where you could find Dylan. Not in this area, but, you know, in terms of the characteristics of a place, that is the ideal thing where no one visits it. It's just abandoned. Providing it's actually got a door on or something. From the looks of it, it looks like it's been... So it's fallen across the entrance point. But it wouldn't be here because it's right next to a main road, so it'd be too obvious. But you get the idea of what could happen. Seen a bit more wildlife now. Compared to previous footage and videos, I never really saw any wildlife until recent time. Come on. I think we're approaching it now. About time. I bet for some people watching this, it's probably like a car journey or something. It's like, are we nearly there? Are we nearly there yet or not? So it appears to be a farm on the side. I mean, this thing, does Chase have any family members that may live in Park Valley? Or does he have a girlfriend or an ex-girlfriend that lives in this area? Any friends? Any family-run businesses or properties, houses? Anything like that. It's worth questioning. Not too much on the left-hand side. That's still fairly sparse. Little shed there, which is interesting. And then that looks to be a farm. Is that a horse? They look like horses. I might be wrong. Little quad bike there. All seems to check out their house as well, where they probably run the farm. Not much going on in this area of suspicion. I'd say it looks a bit better. Not a bit, no. It does look better than Montello. I guess the living conditions. Yeah. Don't know what the population is. I haven't got that far yet. A few houses there. Are they those trailer things? It looks like a bit of a new build, that. Looks clean. Okay. I just want to get a bit further on to get to that crossroads section. Oh, hang on. Is that another abandoned building? Looks a bit rough and worn down. Look at that. That's almost the same size, probably smaller than the one in Montello where you had that small little building, if you remember. The white one, I think it was. And it had that bird symbol on it as well. This one doesn't. But yeah, what's that used for? Leave your thoughts in the chat. Was it like a miniature house for someone? Is it to do with farming, storage? What do you think it's used for? Leave a comment. I mean, there is, I guess, another farm or something parked up. Oh god, we're getting the glitches, aren't we? Where you get like double vision. Look at that, that tractor. Is that like an upgrade? Not. Okay, so there's another shed there. It looks abandoned, but I guess with the tractor being present, it must be tied to some farm. Hold on. Oh, there's a house back there. How come I didn't see that house beforehand? You know, behind it. What the hell? That's kind of weird. Can I just go back quickly? I just want to see if I can see that house. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Oh, yeah, actually, it's not much. It's not real. It's not a house. What the hell? So I don't know who owns that land, whether it's still to do with the farm and that building up there. Probably. Let's continue on. Apologies. Okay. A few trees, branches cut down. I just wanted to show this, like, what do you call it? A tour of the place, just in case you haven't seen it yourself. It might help you understand the place and what it's all about. There you go, there's another decent sized building. Doesn't look too bad. I mean, up to now it looks alright, the place. Still quiet, but doesn't look suspicious or dodgy. As I said, the buildings are pretty well. What do you think of the area? I do remember, though, that one time when I was doing the Kenny Veach one, and I was like, okay, so we need to look at all different angles of the house and the windows, and then someone made a joke saying, well, why are you staring through the windows and stuff? Right, so it gets a bit more vast. What we need to get to is that main section, and it should be further on, right? Because there was a point where you could turn right, and I believe there was a school and a church as well. And it is reminding me of Montello. And obviously, with Chase and the way he is, he comes and goes out of Montello. So it's like trying to understand, is there another darker reason to why he might be in a certain area, which might share characteristics to another spot? There you go, you got a few trailers. I mean, up to now, you haven't really seen that many living trailers. That's because there's been proper houses. Okay. Are we getting up to it now? What's over there? That's quite big, that. I wonder what's in there. A tractor, maybe? Oh, look at that. That's a different type of house, isn't it? That might cost a bit. And a clock as well, and a bell. Different. You seen that? With the bell. Okay. So since we're here, it looks like you can go in different directions, and I think, well, it should be up this way. I mean, if there's a bell, could that be a church? Is that the church? I'm not too sure. And what's over that way? Let's just go up here. We might as well try. What's this? Is that like horse riding or something? Equestrian? Do you call it that? Yeah, it looks like it. Park Valley. Yeah. Okay. Not much going on there. But there are some more buildings up that way, and I'm just thinking, could that be the school? Got an old vehicle there. Look at that. That's definitely a bit worn out. Don't think that would be much of use. Hold on a minute. Actually, is this the school? Yeah, this must be the school. Because you've got this pitch here. Is this baseball, softball, or something else? What's the other one? American something. Is it, if it is baseball, so it reminds me when Salty Pancake said he was going to see some baseball game somewhere. I don't know where. I forgot. But yeah, I mean, it looks all right. Little playground there, I guess. Actually, do you know what? I need to stop analysing this because then it just looks dodgy. The way I'm describing it, shit. But you get the idea. Okay. Oh, there we go. Park Valley School. Now, I wonder what the population is here and how many people attend. I mean, it looks a bit more formal. Bigger building, I guess. What does that say? No parking. Oh, there's handprints on those rocks. Little handprints. Huh. So you got basketball court and so on. Right. Okay. How far does this go down anyway? Maybe it just keeps going on. You got the back there. As said, it's kind of small, but then again, Montello was the same. So I might as well explain it now because before there's too much questioning. What I was getting at was, is Chase potentially... I'm not going to say the word because I'm sure when I said it in the previous video, YouTube didn't like it. The P word, okay? Does Chase have any dodginess around that sort of stuff when it comes to schools and, you know, people? Like what we saw in Montello with the police investigating, kicking doors down and maybe arresting the odd person who was acting a bit suspicious and creepy near to the school. Could the same happen here? I might be completely wrong. It's just like a brief idea or a little point. I'm just going to back out now because I don't know how far this road goes up. Let's just see how it goes up to that point. We'll just have a look there and just see what the dead end looks like. Wow. Damn, that sun is bright. I can't see shit. Is that it? Any more? Why does it keep on going? It said that I couldn't go any further. Oh, there we go. But you see, finally, this is good, okay? I know it's in a different area, but maybe slightly different terrain and visual look, but you just picture this, okay? How Dylan might have been at the time on his land. You look around, or even just when you're searching for Dylan, respectively within Lucin, and you just, you know, visualize how vast and desolate it is all around. You know, there's not much present, there's not much in sight, not many people, and it's like, how can someone just disappear when there's not much to disappear in? Well, that might be an incorrect way of saying it because you've got the mine shafts and the caves, but up to now they've been searched, or so many have, and not been success. But you get that idea visually on screen what it could look like. The dirt roads, if you were driving through, if you were Dylan, going from location to location. And even just that example is when I said about the containers, because how many containers have I been able to show you up close in person? Well, not in person, but on screen, street view. Not really had the chance because Montello was one road limited on the highway, and that was outdated and blurry. Whereas this is clearer and you can see the odd wreckage back there, vehicle. A container like this, which you could find many of in Lucin scattered about, and Montello. the idea and questioning that could Dylan be within 1. I mean, that looks a bit different because it's got a door on the side, so I don't know what that really is. Could it be turned into a living quarters maybe? But you know what I mean. Okay. Right, let's just back out of that because we're going a bit too far. Zoom out. So it's kind of a quiet place, but there's a fair bit of farming going on. Different houses, decent sized ones, trailers. Don't know what the cost of living's like, but I think it's better than other places. Well, this is the thing, and this might just be a common occurrence within the place, within the state, and Montello as well, Nevada. But wherever there is a school, there appears to be the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter nearby it. Now, that probably doesn't mean anything at all, okay? Maybe there's nothing dodgy about that, okay? In my opinion, a rough one. If in Montello there is dodgy stuff going on at the school nearby and it might be tied to the church, could that apply in any way to a place like this? And if so, is that why Chase is within the area? He was in Montello, doing some dodgy stuff, acting a bit creepy, coming and going, stalking, as we've heard, gets out, moves over here, where there is another school and church, and starts stalking again, acting a little bit creepy. Dad picks him up, maybe because Chase is caught or there's some kind of confrontation going on. And then that's what leads to the police investigation. As said, it might not always tie to Dylan. Could be a standalone case or something else ongoing. Okay. So, yeah. And I guess, why does it look different, that? You got the parking lot there. Does it give reviews or anything? No, it doesn't seem to. I think it's on Google Maps where there's reviews. No photos from the looks of it. Okay. Right, okay. Oh, I was there when I was talking about the bell. I don't know if that's a normal house or not. But this is the church. You see the spire going up? I don't know what the church looks like in Montello, because when I tried looking, it didn't look like there was much there, to be honest. Oh, wait, hang on. Well, to be honest, where it was positioned, the market said the church is on the same spot as the school, because when Salty Pancakes drove past in Montello, he ended up passing the church, which is marked on maps, but the actual building in person had a sign saying the school. So maybe it's a school/church within one, which looked different to something like this, okay? So I think that rounds it off. And yeah. Anything? No, I think that's about it. Yeah. Okay, so kind of an all-in-one video. You see what I mean when it comes to covering certain stuff? I don't like doing everything all in one because it can get a little bit messy and some things can be forgotten about if people don't watch all the way through. So I appreciate it if you have watched up until now. But then again, it wasn't too cluttered, this video, because it was like a 3-in-1, which is just simply the NamUS review, which actually links on, ties in with the map analysis I did of that other theory, which then ties into the other map analysis of the area up there. So I guess it kind of links with one another, which is quite good and helpful. So there's a bit of relevance behind it at the end of the day. So I think that rounds this video off in general. As I said, you can leave your thoughts down below in the chat, as well as the comment section as well. And yeah, what do you think about Chase? Despite everything that's gone on, you know, Park Valley. How important is Park Valley to you? Is there something there going on? Is evidence in that area tied to Dylan or maybe to another missing person? And what was Chase doing over there anyway? Just stopping by? The actual area itself looked like just standard houses, farm buildings, the church and school. I didn't see any motels. So does he own property up there, or was he trying to steal something in that area? Who knows? Or is there even darker reasons as well? Did Dylan ever visit Park Valley? And so on. I'm still interested to think, why did someone leave that comment and message in my past video saying you should check out Park Valley? You know, I still can't think when that was done. And, you know, obviously the main question is, are police still investigating that area or not? Has it just come to an end? It might have come to an end. You know, I can only look at so much at a time in terms of information. Not seen too many people talk about Park Valley either. Not from my recollection. Depends what evidence has been found there, if any. Okay. But as I said, if there's any errors or anything needs clearing up, feel free to, you know, leave a comment down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. That's it for now. Goodbye.